Hey, what's up, everybody? It's BDF44 coming at you with another video. Back to NBA basketball stuff. The Lakers. As you know, I might as well just call myself a Laker person because I know more about my team, and so I talk a lot about my team. But at the moment, the Houston Rockets are going to be letting go of Boogie Cousins, or have already let go of Boogie Cousins. They've agreed to part ways, and Boogie's trying to choose between the Lakers and the Nets. I want Boogie back on this team. And we have a hole at the center position pretty much. He's not going to cost much. And I don't think it's going to be a whole lot of trouble getting him here based on the fact that we've had him for 2 years, even though he didn't actually ever play for us, I don't think. He might have played one game or two or something like that. But for the majority of the time, he's been on our roster for like 2 years. And he wasn't even didn't get a chance to play because of injuries. So it would mean a whole lot to Laker Nation to see him finally actually play for us and actually get a chance, since he was so intricate in our locker room and into the chemistry of the team that won a championship. You know, we think about the guys that made that team work, but I think about Boogie. Boogie's been here holding down things from an encouraging standpoint, from just all different types of support. You know, anything that he could do to be an exemplary Laker, including being around for the whole Kobe Bryant situation, being a part of our team when we were going through that. That's a Laker. You know what I mean? As far as I'm concerned, there's nothing to talk about. So I would welcome Boogie back. He should have never been gone in the first place. The issue is, I don't know if he wants to come back. Now, I don't have any information or any hunches or anything. I'm just looking and saying, you had 2 years you played with the Lakers. Didn't get a chance to get on the floor. That chapter was as it was. Maybe he wants a different chapter in his life. You know what I mean? Maybe he would like to go forward rather than go back. You know what I mean, so to speak. Even though he didn't play here, he was here. And he was very much a part of what we did, and we won here, and Maybe he just wants to go somewhere else. Who knows? So it's up to the man himself. He's going to definitely have his suitors. Those are not the only two teams that would want him. And I think he'll fit just fine wherever he goes. I mean, Brooklyn could certainly use a center as well, needless to say. I don't know if he's what either of the team needs. Neither of these teams need, based on the fact that they both need rim protection. And he's not necessarily a shot blocker at this stage in the game. But he's so talented offensively that he creates so much of a problem for any defense that tries to go up against him, period. But definitely if he's on a team like the Lakers or the Nets. I'm talking about open shots for a future Hall of Famer in Boogie Cousins. I mean, it's nothing to talk about. He's shown me enough with the Houston Rockets to tell me that he's still a high-level role player at this stage in his career. Definitely better than half the centers in the league, even right now. So it's not like you're picking up a liability in any way, in my opinion. I think he's still somebody that's going to help. So, you know, I mean, there's not a whole lot Boogie can't do. He was born naturally to score the basketball, born naturally to pass, born naturally to rebound. I mean, he's just a great natural talent, a roll out of bed and do great things type of basketball player. You don't have to teach him much. It is not a system that he's not going to be able to acclimate himself into. It's not a basketball floor that he's not going to be able to impact one way or another. He's not solely predicated on strength, speed, or even power because of how great of a touch he has from all three levels of the basketball floor and the ability to pass once again. He's just a phenomenal natural talent. So whatever he wants to do is basically up to him. I mean, I would not at all be surprised to see a situation similar to several other players who've played their value up. I can certainly see him earning his way back into another $10 million, $20 million a year contract. I can certainly see him doing that based on his skill set and his ability to just acclimate himself into whatever system necessary. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't do that based on his injury history, but if he's able to get in shape, stay in shape, Boogie's a Hall of Famer. So you expect great things out of great players, and it just is what it is. There's a couple of guys that I want to highlight. Just step away from the Lakers a little bit. Just a couple of guys I want to highlight who are doing some amazing things right now. Nikola Jokic had a 50-point game. Phenomenal. Jordan Clarkson had a 40-point game, hit like 8 threes off the hook. Who else? Anthony Edwards is starting to get it together. He caught him a body in one of the nicest jams you'll ever see over Watabe. I don't want to mess up the man's name, but he plays for the Toronto Raptors, and he just got destroyed. He will forever live in infamy, and that is one of the greatest posters I've ever seen. Like, honestly, that is going in the top 100 dunks of all time in the history of this sport. So if you get a chance to see Anthony Edwards against the Toronto Raptors highlights, check out an amazing jam. Just absolutely unfathomably vicious. What else? Somebody else did something too. I thought it was noteworthy. Wanted to give them their credit. Just a lot of guys playing well, man. Damn, who was it, man? Somebody had a 50-point game. Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray had a 50-point game, and if I'm not mistaken, he didn't miss a free throw or didn't attempt a free throw. He had like 9 out of 12 threes or something like that, and had like 8 of 11 shooting. Those are not the real numbers, but the point is he shot that type of percentage. It was like 80% from 3, 80% from the field, no free throws attempted, 50 points, and a win. So for me, Jamal Murray, that's not surprising. Jamal Murray is an efficient, hyper efficient scorer when he's on fire. There's not a whole lot that he cannot do as a young scorer, and he's still growing. I think he's in a good spot playing for the Denver Nuggets. They've done a good job of cultivating his talent, giving him opportunities to succeed. But he's a slight guy. He's smaller, so he's not going to be as great on the defensive end, but he's tenacious. He really, really has a lot of heart, a lot of fire in him. And when he gets that killer mindset going, he's about as deadly of a killer as there is in this league. So I think the future is super, super, super blindingly bright for a guy like Jamal Murray. And I'm not surprised to see him do things that we've never seen done before in terms of shooting the basketball. He's just a real next-level marksman, a next-level scorer. And that's not as good as it gets. It gets even better than this, I guarantee it. So, yeah, man, it's just a lot of good stuff going on. Shout out to the Phoenix Suns for putting together a really, really solid season thus far. Chris Paul had 19 assists in the previous game, 15 points, 19 assists in the victory. Listen, Chris Paul has been doing stuff like that a lot in his career, so nobody's going to be surprised to see him get 19 assists here. However, to see him doing it at 33, 32, something like that, years of age, on his fifth team or fourth team, first year with this team, obviously very impressive. But that's Chris Paul's DNA. Once again, we talk about great players, they do great things. So you ain't going to be too surprised to see Chris Paul do something great because he's always done so. It'd be good to see him get a championship ring at some point. Hopefully he gets that soon somewhere. I don't know that he'll get there with the Phoenix Suns, but I will say that he's looked good everywhere he went. So hopefully he can get some hardware before it's over. And Lou Williams is another guy I want to mention of the Los Angeles Clippers. He's pulled together. And it's funny because I made a video before I realized he was really snapping out of that slump. I think I was talking about Lou Williams and I was saying how bad of a season he's having. And really there's no reason for him to have such a bad season because his game is not predicated on some of the other stuff that other players are. So even if he's facing Father Time, he's a small player, so he's going to be faster than most, even if he slows down. His scoring ability is based on his ability to shoot the ball accurately and draw fouls and manipulate referees, just like James Harden, into calling fouls that probably aren't there. So that's his game. That's what he's great at. That doesn't go away. He can do that until he decides to stop. So at this point, I look at Lou Williams and I'd say he was just not in. He wasn't really engaged, I guess is the word I was looking for, with the Clippers to start the season. But since Paul George went down, Kawhi Leonard went down, Batum went down, he has stepped his game up tremendously and looks absolutely phenomenal. So we want to give Lou Williams a bunch of credit for just turning into the player that we know him to be and being better to continue the process of this season. So, yeah, man, that's what I got to say, man. Just a couple guys I wanted to shout out that I think are doing phenomenally. Zach LaVine is another one. Unbelievable offensive talent he's turned into, scoring talent. He just strings together threes like water. The thing about Zach LaVine is that he has next level jumping ability. So his jump shot and the strength that he gives you when he shoots up into the air, jumping, allows him to seemingly just have more of an accurate consistency about his shot that a lot of players don't have, just simply because the legs go. Most players, after a couple jump shots, their legs disappear. They're not jumping as high as when they start shooting a lot. Zach LaVine don't have that problem. He has a God-given ability to effortlessly leap off of the floor. Reminds me of a guy like Sean Marion. They jump, and it doesn't even seem like it really requires a whole lot for them to do so. They just find themselves in the air. I think that helps Zach LaVine quite a bit, having that type of athleticism and strength in his lower body. When you have that, it just makes it so that once you get a rhythm going, you really don't fall off. You know what I mean? The fatigue doesn't set in for a guy like Zach LaVine. So I would love to see him get on a good team. I know Chicago's happy with him. I think they're looking to trade him, but I think that's more so of a courtesy to him, sort of like Bradley Beal's situation if the Wizards would decide to trade him. It's not because they're not happy with him. It's just because they can't give him the winning situation that he deserves. So I'd like to see Zach LaVine find himself in a situation that allow him to score a lot and still be victorious. We'll see. We'll see. He signed a contract with the Bulls. The Bulls do have a young team. He is a young player. So if they don't move him and they just continue to develop the guys like Wendell Carter, Kobe White, Patrick Williams, you keep that core together and continue to add to it, I think they can be happy with Zach LaVine as their best player, but I don't think they can win a championship that way. So we'll see. Patrick Williams is going to turn into something, and when he does, I think he can change the whole dynamic of Chicago from a basketball standpoint. But until he becomes that player, which is probably going to take him a couple years, they're going to be out of the playoffs, in my opinion. But Kobe White's a nice player. I would love for them to get Alonzo Ball, somebody like a Ricky Rubio or somebody like that to help facilitate the basketball, to take a little pressure off of Kobe White. In terms of doing those things, just let him be a pure scorer, a Lou Williams, somebody like that. That's when he's at his best. When he has to try to facilitate for others, that's really outside of his comfort zone, and he doesn't really shine doing that. So if they can get them a point guard, I think all that they have will start to really come together to play better. They're a better defensive team than one would think. They do have good defensive fundamentals, it seems. So the Chicago Bulls do have a lot to work with in terms of how they draft going forward to make themselves better. I don't think they need a whole lot. They just need to do the right things from here. So we'll see. If Zach LaVine is part of that, cool. If not, I'm sure they can get a great haul for him. Who else? Oh, Zion Williamson is somebody I want to mention. And he doesn't get a lot of press, which is kind of strange because obviously he's one of the most coveted rookies from that draft class, one of the most coveted rookies of all time, if not second or third of all time, literally. But since being drafted, he's playing for the Pelicans, which is an underwhelming situation in terms of the franchise itself. Just not very exciting. He's playing with a bunch of guys that were non-shooters, with the exception of J.J. Redick. Everybody else is just either capable of hitting a three, but not a shooter, or somebody that doesn't shoot at all. But they do have some pieces that you really, really like. And plenty of them, to be honest with you. It's just, the question is, do they all fit? And can they create the spacing opportunities to make it all make sense? But with that being said, Zion Williamson is one of the most efficient offensive scorers we've ever seen. And I think it's safe to say in terms of inside the paint. He's just scoring. He's getting almost 30 points a game, and he's shooting almost 80% a night. Like, he's just dunking, laying the ball up, using his athletic ability and his strength to just, barrel through people. The good thing about it, though, is unlike a player who's similar to him in Julius Randle, he's under much more control. He has much better handles, and he's much more wiggly, as people say. He's much more agile on the floor. He's coming at you like a refrigerator with wheels on it. That's what it seems like. The dude just barrels through people, around people. Trying to defend him is almost like pointless. It's like Baby Shaq. A lot of people have been called Baby Shaq, but he actually is a Baby Shaq. You know what I mean? He really does have that type of power and that type of ability to clear you out with his physicality. You're just not going to be bothering him at all. So, yeah, Zion Williamson, I think he has a chance to make an All-Star team this year. I'd like to see him make it. And it's really up to the Pelicans and David Griffin to really put a team in place that makes sense for them. Right now, they have a bunch of pieces that, if they're put in the right situation, can all be very, very, very good players on a playoff team. But together, Bledsoe, Lonzo, you got Adams, Zion, you got BI. It's just not. It's not a cohesive fit. Just a lot of talented players. Hopefully, they can find a way to make something cohesive out of what it is that they have, so that they don't waste Zion's tenure like they did Anthony Davis's. Quite frankly. So that's what I got to say about that. But kudos to Zion for making the most of his situation and continuing to live up to the hype, because he's lived up to it. It's just that the hype has died down based on the franchise he plays for. So that's that. Is anybody else I want to shout out? I don't know. There's just a bunch of players doing a lot of good things, man. This is a great time to be watching basketball. Domantas Sabonis is a guy that should be getting some nods. Nikola Vucevic are two guys who are just playing phenomenally right now in the Eastern Conference. I'd love to see them both make All-Star teams. I don't know who's going to get snubbed out there, but that's the thing. So, yeah, we can talk about that before I hang up on the line here. Let's talk about the starters of the All-Star game. Actually, you know what? I'll make another video on that right now. Thank you guys for watching. Check my All-Star video out.